Good morning, y'all. Welcome back to Just Goodness 333 Little Homestead. My name is Sherilyn. It's early on a Saturday morning, and I want to take you around my garden. I was just out here picking some Chinese red noodle beans. I always forget the name of those things. Chinese red noodle beans. And I want to show you how beautiful they look right now. They're just starting to come in here toward the bottom. Aren't they so beautiful? We have a few up here. Look at this. They're so sweet. You can eat them when they're this small. But I like to wait just a little longer. Maybe when they're like this. Now I'm going to come back and get these in a little bit because I think I want to take some pictures. They're really starting to fill in at the bottom here. And the vines are all the way to the top of the trellis. This is just kind of magic to me. I love the early morning in the garden. There's a lot going on, a lot starting to fruit, and that makes me so happy. I am beyond happy thinking of all the time I spent out here hauling dirt and building flower beds and doing all this labor. And then you look at the ground that's kind of barren and you think, I really wish that you could see some progress. The sun's starting to peek up over the top of the house, as you can see. And I'm going to take you on a little tour. This one's going to be a little different. I just kind of feel in my heart that I want to share with you guys some encouragement. There is a scripture in the Bible, and it says, talks about not despising the day of small beginnings. As I was putting this garden in, I was looking at those teeny tiny seeds, and I thought, oh my goodness, this is just such a parable for that scripture. Don't despise the day of small beginnings. When I put this zinnia in, I mean that tiny is the seed. And some of these other things I plant, the seeds are so tiny you can barely see them. And I look in that seed and I'm like, wow, there's just so much potential here for life. There's so much life in this teeny tiny little thing. And I started looking at those seeds kind of like a dream, because I have dreams. In the beginning, I had a dream of this garden. Before that, I had a dream just to have a house with a big enough yard that I could grow things or turn it all into a playground for the grandchildren. You know, I had to dream this yard before I actually had one. And there's a lot of things that we have dreams about. I don't want to make this too long, but I just want to encourage you not to despise the day of small beginnings. Whatever your dream is, or whatever it is that you're putting your hands to work in, it may seem like it's just as small as that tiny little seed. But I would just want to encourage you to plant it, water it, tend it, and just keep believing. And when you look at your dream, don't see the tiny little seed. I want you to see the flowers. I want you to see the beans, the fruit, whatever it is you're dreaming of. And don't despise the day of small beginnings. If that's where you're at today, and it just seems like a small beginning, it just seems like a tiny seed. If you have just a tiny seed of faith, just a tiny dream, plant it, water it, tend it and watch it grow. Now come on, let's look at this garden. Now these are not supposed to be vining, climbing beans. These are bush variety California cowpeas. And I knew they had a little bit of a runner tendency, but I had no idea they would do this. I mean, I've saved the seed and the seed's gotten stronger, but look at this. They're everywhere. When I say the seed's gotten stronger, I mean it's acclimated to my environment. Therefore, it's hardier in my environment. And we can look in here and see the little pretty flowers. These are going to turn into some black-eyed peas. But we have an issue. We have aphids. I hate these things. I'll have to get in here with some neem oil later this evening. But it's been raining almost every day. Look at these jokers. They're climbing each other. And this little cucumber plant that I probably put in this hot backyard a little too late is still giving me some cucumbers. These are a pickling variety. It is really struggling though. I'm hoping it pulls through enough to produce some good fruit, and I have pruned back some of the bad leaves to so the plant doesn't, give all its energy to keeping those bad leaves alive. Look at this. We have a surprise under here. That's our first squash on this struggling little plant that's been battling caterpillars. I got 3 caterpillars off of it today. But look, that's a white patty pan squash. A lot of times we grow food and we think, I've grown all this food. And then we like, how am I going to eat all this food? How do you cook this? What do you do? With the white patty pan squash, you can chop it up just like any other squash. And what I like to do is cut off the blossom top or the stem top, and I'll scoop it out. I'll take a knife, go around it, scoop out the middle, and leave about 1 inch of the shell all the way around. I'll saute that up with some other things, like some onions and garlic. I'm going to use some of these red noodle beans, and I'm going to saute them in there. I'm going to make some rice and some canned beef that I have, and I'm going to make just a combination of things. Then I'm going to bake the squash until it's just getting tender. And then I'm going to take it out and put all that good stuff in it and top it with cheese. It's going to be so good. Let's look at this stuff over here. This okra is looking so beautiful. I just keep coming out every day thinking I'm going to find a blossom. And I can't wait. There's something that's just so magical. And then I look at these little leaves coming, and sometimes they look like blossoms. And I'm like, oh, it's a flower blossom. And I come back the next day and no, it's just a leaf. But pretty soon, these guys are still struggling here. Let's go look at the shade garden. Now to walk past it, it doesn't look like anything's happening, but here's our vegetable amaranth. It's coming. I still see no sign of those collards. Here we have a few carrots that are coming up. I'm not really confident in my carrot growing skills. There's a fly. You guys see that fly? But these carrots have sprouted. They've germinated and they've sprouted. Woo! Shoo fly, don't bother me. And here's the little tomatoes that have germinated from that tropical seed pack we got. There's another one coming up over there. And the Lago spinach is still teeny tiny. But hopefully it's going to come up and really help us have some good leafy greens this summer. This is the Heatmaster tomato I bought at the nursery. Still no flowers. But this one, called Somerset, is producing some flowers. Tomatoes are self-pollinating, but I do come out and give it a tap to shake some of the pollen stuff together, and hopefully they'll pollinate and give us some good tomatoes. Here's my seedlings. They're looking a little yellow. We've had way too much rain. And here are those Floridade tomatoes that we got. These are the ones that are supposed to withstand temperatures above 95 degrees. There's some more red noodle beans. Look at this, y'all. It's about to get magical up in here.